like a, back like a, back like a, back like a.
Hey guys, it's ET here, and today I'm bringing you some really exciting news. If you're a huge ThinkPad lover like I am, then you're going to love this. Lenovo is planning on making a Retro ThinkPad. Yes, you heard me right. Your ears are not deceiving you, nor is this a prank. Lenovo, but more specifically David Hill, want to make a ThinkPad that will have classic features in a modern design, along with all the latest technology, which will result in a special and unique ThinkPad. We're basically going to step into a ThinkPad time machine. David Hill published a post on the Lenovo Blogs last Thursday, and if you don't know who David is, he is Lenovo's VP of Corporate Identity and Design, and has been keeping ThinkPad's design philosophy alive for pretty much all of ThinkPad's lifetime. And he said that he has been playing around with the idea of making a very unique ThinkPad model, one that will blend the best of the past and the present. This ThinkPad will have a 7-row classic keyboard, a blue enter key, a 16:10 ratio screen, a multicolored ThinkPad logo, which will be in the original IBM ThinkPad red, green, and blue colors, by the way, dedicated balling buttons, rubberized paint, exposed screws, lots of status LEDs, LCD latches, 2 Think lights, and much more, all put together in a modern shell, basically. It will embrace all the latest technology while at the same time embrace the original design details in the strongest detail possible. This retro ThinkPad will be very reminiscent of the X300. It's basically going to combine the best of the X300 and the best of the X1 Carbon, as well as the original ThinkPad, into one. If you go to the Lenovo blogs and click on David's post, you'll get to see some pics of the concept. And let me tell you all, it looks gorgeous. It looks like a fine piece of art. I think you guys are really going to love it. Just go to the Lenovo blogs, click on David's post. It is called ThinkPad Time Machine, and you'll see them. And I'll go ahead and provide the link in the description. The thing I really love about this is that it combines the best of the past as well as the present. I feel like this is going to unite all ThinkPadders. It's going to unite all loyalists, and that's the other thing I'm really looking forward to. And as far as I can tell, it seems to be doing just that. The last generation of ThinkPads, I feel really divided us all, and that's something that I'm not very happy about. It's something I just want to forget. ThinkPad and its community helped me make who I am today, and it was just crushing seeing it being divided like that, where one group was being pitted against the other group. When I joined this community, I was just a teenager. My parents were bickering all the time, and they eventually broke up. And I was constantly clashing with them because of my dislike of school and wanting alternative education. The selective mutism, which by the way is an extreme form of shyness I had back then, as well as my gender issues, well, at least with my mom, were the reasons why I often clashed with them. And this community was an escape from all that. It became like my second family. I did not become a part of this community to see more bickering and fighting. And this is one of the primary reasons why I hang around the forums and message boards about ThinkPad sporadically these days. Because the division and negativity was driving me absolutely crazy, which made me feel alienated. It made me act out a bit at times, and it was no longer fun. I can happily and gladly tell you all that ever since David published his post, the response to this has been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone seems to be backing this up, and best of all, everyone seems to be very enthusiastic about this, and they all seem to be banding together. This feels just like my early days in this wonderful community, something which I really missed and longed for, and something I feel our community could really use right now. ThinkPad has gone through multiple changes and refinements since the first ThinkPad, which was the 700C by the way, was released back in 1992. For example, ThinkPads at one time had 7-row keyboards, and then they switched over to 6-row island style keyboards, and they got thinner and lighter as well. I don't mind the fact that ThinkPad has changed and evolved, since you have to evolve if you want to stay relevant, but just as long as you stay true to your values, focus on quality, and don't stray too far away from the original concept, and also as long as you don't go overboard. Don't change something for the sake of change, and put plenty of thought into something you want to change. I'm a very open minded, flexible person, which means I'm very open to change and embrace it because I know it's inevitable. However, some people aren't like me and are more resistant to change for various reasons. For example, some miss the 7-row classic keyboard, while I don't mind the new 6-row island style modern keyboard. For the people who do mind the changes, it's either because they rather have everything stay the same just for the sake of comfort, or they find that an old way of doing something worked for them. Everyone adapts to change differently. Some faster than others, some slower than others, and everyone has different needs. Some changes are a great idea, while others may not be a very good idea. A prominent example of the latter would be the sort of experimental clickpad that was introduced in the last generation of ThinkPads. There were a lot of people who had a really tough time adapting to it, and even though I don't really mind it, I feel as if having dedicated trackball buttons is actually more efficient. The people who develop ThinkPads, a lot of them who have been around since the first ThinkPad was released, have experimented with ThinkPad from time to time in order for it to adapt and evolve. Some of their efforts have had great success, while others have had mixed results. Some people, like myself, accept this reality, while others not so much. The thing everyone has to realize is that even though their developers have had their share of mistakes, they've always kept listening to users for feedback on what has worked for them and what didn't work for them and what they want in order to keep improving and refining ThinkPads. Mistakes are inevitable. They're going to happen. That's just the way things work. I think this Retro ThinkPad will be a reflection of all those lessons learned from all the trial and error. This Retro ThinkPad, I believe and hope, will also make people appreciate and respect ThinkPad and ThinkPad design more. And particularly with my generation, the millennials, as well as the next generation. ThinkPad has been around for 22 years now. It's had a lot of firsts, like for example, it was the first laptop to have a CD-ROM drive, as well as an accelerometer called the Active Protection System, which stops your hard drive from spinning whenever the laptop is being moved around in order to prevent damage to the drive. Not to mention that it's the first and only computer to travel to space and are currently being used in the International Space Station. Its design is timeless. It has withstood the test of time and is comparable to that of the Porsche or Porsche, whatever you want to call it, the BMW, the Mustang, and the like. It has a sleek, simple, rugged design that is black, pleasant to look at, and can withstand nearly any mishap you might have in your daily life. It is easy to upgrade and maintain, which also increases its longevity. It can easily adapt to a changing world because of its simplistic design philosophy, something that no other competitor can say. In today's world, a world that is saturated by generic, disposable, flashy, and uninspiring computers, the ThinkPad is being underappreciated, undervalued, and underrated. People have sadly forgotten about ThinkPad's rich heritage, or they just don't know about this, or even worse, are being spoon-fed misinformation. No other computer maker can claim that they have a heritage and pedigree like that of Lenovo and ThinkPad. And no other competitor can say that they have a design approach of purposeful evolution. This is such a timeless, classic, elegant design that more people need to value and appreciate. As someone who has been using ThinkPads for 11 years now, loves everything ThinkPad, collects ThinkPads, and who has been deeply and profoundly touched by ThinkPads, I definitely would stand in line to buy such a unique and special ThinkPad. But what about the rest of you? And in particular, my fellow ThinkPad loyalists. Will you be willing to buy this kind of ThinkPad? Feel free to let me know in the comments section. But most of all, if you want to see a retro ThinkPad or have suggestions on how to make it better, please let David Hill and Lenovo know over at the Lenovo Blogs. And again, I'll provide the link in the description, and I will advise you to go there instead. They're listening to what we have to say. The features of this retro ThinkPad, or at least the concept of it, depending on what happens, could be implemented into future ThinkPads. And if this gains enough support, it will be brought to market. Right now, it's just an idea and they need enough support to bring it to market. So far, we seem to be having a lot of support, and it looks like we'll see this come to market because David Hill announced during the weekend that he will be having a survey over what features to have in the Retro ThinkPad. Also, if this happens, which so far it looks like it will, I will be doing something special for it when it's brought to market. So yeah, let's make this happen. So anyway, that's all for this little commentary of mine. I just wanted to share my thoughts on this idea and let you guys know about it. I'm really excited about this. It's a really cool concept and I really think we should support it. And before I end this, let me take some time to say that all this positivity surrounding the Retro ThinkPad has been overwhelming. I'm really feeling the passion and energy from you guys. Again, it feels just like my very early days in the ThinkPad community. Reading your comments in David's post really made my day on Thursday. It even almost drove me to tears at one point. I hope this is a new chapter and that we have this unity and positivity all the time. I mean, at this point, I'm hoping that Lenovo also implements these changes on at least the most popular ThinkPads, those being the T, W, and X series, of course, just so we can have this all the time. Even though, well, some people, regardless of this, are still not going to be on board, but who cares about them, right? In fact, I'm all in for it. I'm all in for Lenovo going back to the classic design on those three ThinkPad series, at least. It makes perfect sense if you really think about it. Thank you all for making my day on Thursday. This has really encouraged me to work harder on reaching my goals so I can represent our community and beloved computer brands and movement in an industry where we're being overlooked. That industry, of course, being the arts and entertainment / creative industry. Please keep the party going and make me fall in love with this great community all over again. But anyways, I gotta go now. Like and share this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description. And I'll catch you guys next time.
Back like a full frontal assault.